My roommate stole my startup idea and got $2 made in funding. Then her investors bound my earnings recording. My roommate stole my startup idea, secured $2 million in funding, and then publicly claimed I was mentally unstable when I confronted her. 3 months later, she was removed as CEO when investors heard the recording I'd secretly made of her admitting everything. Megan and I met in grad school studying biomedical engineering. We became roommates after graduation and both worked at different tech Starbucks in Boston. For 8 months, I dedicated every evening and weekend to developing a medical device for monitoring diabetic symptoms. Non-invasively, I built 3 prototypes, filed a provisional patent application, and tracked detailed testing data. Megan knew everything about my project because we shared our living room as a cleave. She'd even helped me brainstorm solutions when I hit development roadblocks. I trusted her completely. In February, I traveled home for 2 weeks when my mother had emergency surgery. When I returned, Megan had moved out with no explanation. My prototypes, testing journals, and even my backup hard drive were missing. She wouldn't answer calls or texts. 3 weeks later, I saw her featured in a tech publication announcing her new company with $2 million in seed funding. The device she was demonstrating was identical to my design, put down to the custom sensor configuration I'd spent months perfecting. I confronted her at her new office and she had security remove me. She then emailed our entire graduate school network claiming I was having a mental health crisis and fabricating stories due to jealousy over her success. She suggested people keep their distance from me for their audacity. Former classmates started avoiding me. With job interviews were mysteriously canceled. My own startup dreams were crumbling and I was rapidly depleting my savings with no income. The turning point came when my former research partner Eli reached out. He didn't believe Megan's story and offered to help. We met for coffee and I broke down explaining everything. What about the recording? He asked. I had no idea what he meant. Remember that smart speaker you modified for your research last year? The one in your living room? In that moment I realized my prototype had been recording audio to test voice recognition for diabetic distress markers. I'd completely forgotten about this feature during the chaos. I raced home and found the cloud backup. There it was a crystal clear conversation from the day before Megan moved out. They're offering $2 million in seed funding if I can demonstrate a working prototype by next week, Megan's voice said. I know it's basically stealing her idea, but she's too cautious to move quickly. This device could help millions of people faster if I take it to market now. She'll never know I am taking all her prototypes and data. I'll destroy her pirate tonight. A male voice responded. Are you sure about this? It seems really wrong. By the time she figures it out, the company will be too established for her to do anything. I'll say she's unstable if she makes accusations. It always works, pant. No one believes the hysterical woman. I immediately sent the recording to a new lawyer who drafted cease and desist letters to Megan and her investors. The response was immediate. The investment firm requested an emergency meeting. At the meeting, I brought everything. My original design notes with timestamps, early sketches, material orders predating Megan's invention, and the damning recording. The investors were furious, not just about the theft, but about the liability they now faced with the provisional patent I'd filed. Within 48 hours, Megan was removed as CEO. The investors offered me a choice: litigation that could take years, or stepping in as the rightful founder with full control and expanded funding. Today, my company is valued at $15 million, with our device in final stage FDA approval. Megan tried to launch another startup last year, but investors now run background checks specifically asking about her by name. Sometimes I replay that recording not because I need to, but to remind myself that preparation and documentation can be the difference between being erased and being vindicated. The smart device that was meant to help diabetics ended up saving my future too.